I guess I'll start with Saturday night into Sunday. That seems to be the biggest kind of hardest hit area, and even Sunday morning. How is the city really prepping for that stint? I mean, part of the struggle with this weather system is it's long. Like it could go Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday. So, right, how are you guys preparing for this?
Yeah, this weather event is ice and wintry mix. This freezing rain makes it more difficult. On top of that, it is expected to be a lengthy system. So it may stay in the metro Atlanta area for 6 or 7 hours of just nonstop freezing rain and ice. And that makes for bad road conditions. It also means that tree limbs could potentially fall and therefore fall on power lines. So we've been coordinating for the last 2 or 3 days with Georgia Power, with GDOT, with Grady Hospital, with Atlanta Public Schools, as well as all of my administration, planning for how to make sure residents are safe, how to make sure we get proper messaging out. So ATL and our 31 salt spreaders and brine trucks are out there, or 21 salt trucks and 22 brine trucks are out, later tomorrow, making sure that the roads are prepped so that the ice can melt if it hits the ground. But that's on our priority one, priority two streets. Some of the back roads we'll get to as time goes on. So we're trying to educate the public on staying in the house on Saturday night through Sunday morning, making sure you have water, food, batteries, and flashlights in case the power goes out, checking on your neighbors, your senior citizens, and most vulnerable people. And we also have opened up our warming centers for the entirety of this event.
Last year we got snow, and it was sort of a fun. I mean, I think you remember the images from Piedmont Park, and it was sort of lighthearted. And honestly, from the city's perspective, there were really no issues, curveballs. It sort of was just it's rare to get winter events like that. This could be a little bit different. How are you approaching it kind of from a different seriousness level?
Yeah, I told my team on our very first call 2 days ago, we cannot rest on our laurels of last year and the year before, how well we handled the snow and ice event in coordination with Governor Kemp and GDOT and GMA and everybody. We did a great job at notifying the public and dealing with the events on the ground, making sure that we had salt and brine and making sure the roads were clear as best as we could. People had fun last year. I had fun last year as we were still managing the system. This is ice, though. This is different. There's not too much fun you're going to have in this. You're not going to build a snowman. You won't see people at our park sledding and all that stuff. This is going to be just let's get through it. And this is making sure that people break from some of their norms. Sunday morning worship services at 7 a.m., 9 a.m. We want you to consider canceling those events to go virtual to make sure that people can be safe. We've canceled events that are in the city on Saturday night, things that the Parks and Rec Department and others may have had. We've canceled those events in the caution that we need to take and making sure people are safe. So this is about being prepared. And then we have to look at Monday morning, going back to school, going back to work. Do we want school buses on the road as the temperatures have dropped and this stuff might refreeze? And black ice is just dangerous to deal with. And we want people to be safe. And then, of course, coordinating with Georgia Power to get power back on as quick as possible in the event that power lines are snapped.
With some of this ambiguity, we don't really know exactly. It looks like North Atlanta will be kind of the most hit in terms of this jurisdiction. But the timing of it, what does Sunday night look like? What does Monday night look like? I mean, will you guys launch an operation center? Is this something that you guys will have rolling updates about? I mean, how focused will you be on just sort of the fluidity of all of this?
Yeah, so we are meeting yesterday and today every about 8 hours or so. We have our ongoing calls. Well, that frequency is going to pick back up on Saturday, and we will open up the Joint Operations Center, which is where about 25 departments have a senior leader there that can call the shots and make sure that anything that they need to do, that they are all visually together and coordinated to send their people out. We are preparing for the worst, just so that we are in position for anything that happens. So yeah, we'll be updating the public every 3 hours or so as we meet constantly on a frequency over Saturday into Sunday. And hopefully that can subside on Sunday into Monday. But We'll be ready for it. This is an unknown, thing. What's going to happen? How is the weather going to shift? You're right. It seems like it's heading north of I-20 and into North Atlanta and into the northern and eastern suburbs, but we don't know. It's weather. Anything could happen, so we have to be prepared.
Yeah. Any populations that you're especially focused on? I'm thinking vulnerable people, certainly right now, those who live outside, also the people who are older.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you want people to check on right now? I mean, this is the time now to sort of do your prep and check on your people.
Absolutely. Right now, if you can, your senior citizens that live alone, let's go have that conversation with them. Do you want to come into my home and be with me and my family? Do you want us to pick you up now? We don't know how long this event will take for the ice to melt, for you to be able to get out, for caregivers to be able to get to you, particularly those individuals that have 48-hour needs for a caregiver to come in to change out something or to provide a medical device or pharmaceuticals, et cetera. Those are the people we need to have that conversation. They've been strong people over all their lives, but let's have that conversation now about coming into our home. And then for those that are sleeping outside, those that are unsheltered, we have a substantial number of warming centers in Atlanta and around the metro region. The Cobb County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, they have their warming centers open. Please utilize those centers. Let's not be out in the cold. Let's not try to tough this out. Let's get inside. We have food, we have warm, we have showers. We want to encourage people to use those amenities that we have to make sure that they're safe. And those folks that want to go out and, yeah, hey, I got a business. I want to make sure I do this or that. Just to get it all done before Saturday afternoon, because let's just stay off the road so that essential vehicles can be on the road when they need to be doing their work on Saturday late afternoon through Sunday. Let's not take any unnecessary trips.
Lastly, for these next 24 hours ahead of kind of when the worst of it starts to come in, what is the city doing? I mean, can you pre-treat the roads now? And like, right, if it's North Atlanta, I'm thinking Buckhead, and we know Buckhead. We know when there's rain, when it floods, all the thing, So when we're thinking heavy sleet rain, I'm thinking, uh-oh, is Buckhead going to get hit again? But yeah, is that a focus area for you? And will that help in these next 24 hours?
Yeah, so directly to the first part around the streets, it's raining now. So if we were to put salt down, it'll just wash away. So we have to wait for the rain event to go away. And so that's going to take place tomorrow, where we'll start salting and pre-treating the roads. And then that is before the ice comes. So that's our strategy to make sure that's happening. We're in coordination with GDOT. And so that's going to take place tomorrow, which will be making sure that things are in place. So once the ice comes, it'll be ready for us to quickly get it up and we can plow it if it needs to be later. But as it relates to places where we have a lot of trees, that's Buckhead, Southwest Atlanta, Cascade, Adamsville, these places that you have large, old, mature trees overlooking the roadway where power lines are. We're in coordination with Georgia Power. Previously, we've had them cut back limbs, and they've been doing that, but you never know what's going to happen. So, if a tree limb or a tree falls on the power lines, what happens is that community is without power, and so we're trying to get them to get those power lines back up and turn back on before it gets too cold. Because if your gas is if your heat is electric or et cetera, you are going to be without power. So we're hoping that you have blankets and provisions now. In the event that that happens, have your flashlights, have your candles, and know the warmest spot in your house and how to stay warm as Georgia Power works really hard. I'm so thankful that they know how to get it back on within a limited amount of time, and we'll be on them to make sure that Atlanta is a priority.
Any final message to the city of Atlanta? We're going to air this whole thing kind of just so that everyone can know all the odds and ends. But yeah, any last message as we head into this thing?
Yeah, a few messages. Freezing rain doesn't look dramatic when you look at it, but it is freezing on the ground, and black ice is dangerous. You may think that we're exaggerating, like, oh, this isn't that bad, and you're going to go out there in your car and you may cause an accident or harm yourself. So please just stay off the bridges and overpasses. We have 162 bridges in Atlanta. That's just the city of Atlanta, and each one of those bridges has a chance of having ice on it. And so we're going to pre-treat, do all we can, but you have to do all you can to make your trips now. The other thing is know the difference between 911 and 311. Call 311 for non-emergencies, a tree down, something that's happening that's water that's running down the street or something of that nature. Call 311. But 911 is for medical emergencies, a fire, a violent crime in progress. That is where you use 911 so we can stay safe there. Let's be ahead of this by getting all the items you need, food, water, making sure you have flashlights, candles, and blankets, and then check on the most vulnerable people. Lastly, stay focused on the news. And you can sign up for Notify ATL by texting Notify ATL to 24639 and just check out social media for the city of Atlanta.